Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. This is episode number 92, the 5th of February, and I'm joined by Sree Chityalaji. Sree, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar and good morning to everybody.
We start today with the headline item. The US stimulus looks like there has been an agreement reached. People have been working late into the night yesterday to come up to an agreement. What are the salient points, sir?
I think the salient points, the first and foremost salient point is that the Harris steps in to break the tie, okay, because it's a 50-50. So question was asked whether, she would step in, but she has come in and voted so that in the Senate to break the tie. The features are that $1,400 is now on, $400 unemployment allowance is on till September. $70 million is 50 plus 20 for COVID and expanded vaccination program for $20 billion. $350 billion, which is for the local schools administration that encompasses also the small business administration support. Plus, remember, there's also $350 billion or $400 billion worth of unused loans sitting in the Treasury. And so you have that. Then you have the $170 billion for schools, K-12 schools for the reopening. Just on that point, there's still dispute going on between school unions and the state in terms of opening or not opening the schools. So, and Biden has also weighed in on that. Then $30 billion is the rental supplement. So these are the kind of the salient features. They have passed it through a resolution bill. And which means that the Senate debated, and there are quite a few amendments that was discussed just to make the point, which has nothing to do with the pandemic, such as immigration, such as taxation, such as abortions, such as schools, etc. But they became kind of the marquee political scoring points. But Democrats used their vote to get it through. They were very much in support of their progressive agenda. So where we saw some amendments in three specific areas. One, they realized that at this pandemic stage, it's not appropriate to raise the minimum wage to $15. So therefore, that is agreed. Second, the $1,400, people seems to have buckled and said that this is only for low income, that is those who have a combined family income of greater than $150,000. They may not be eligible. So I think that those two things seems to have got in as an amendment. So 7 Democrats opposed Biden's ban on fracking, and 2 Democrats opposed cancellation of the Keystone XL. There may be some support coming for that in the House when it goes back to the House for the final vote, basically because there are some very vulnerable House representatives from those states and their jobs could be impacted. When the polls happen in 2022, the next elections, some of these House seats come up for voting, so that could have an impact. Also, I think that the other important facet that is being looked at as part of this is the $50,000 increase or waiver from $10,000 to student loans. Whether that will be tagged to this package, we don't know, but that very much seems to be part of it. But there is a very key item that people must recognize is namely 42 Senate Democrats supported the direct payments to illegal aliens. So illegal aliens being given money on a COVID relief is being supported by 42 Democrats. What happens in the House remains to be seen. There are about 12 million of them, of which it may not be all 12 million eligible, but that is kind of a substantive issue. Democrats have also made it a point to mention that there will be another reconciliation budget passed later this year for things such as environment, green, etc., green energy and all kinds of Paris Accord, etc., would be passed. So we now have gone past this scenario of all executive orders and reconciliation, recognizing that's the only way the progressive agenda of the Democrats is going to get through. Not a good precedence, but that's where we are.
What is the top line now? Is it still 1.9 trillion?
Its top line is 1.9 trillion.
Let's move on to the impeachment circus. I say circus because it's now established beyond doubt that it is unconstitutional. It has never happened before. Not only that, this also paves way for impeachment of many other presidents. It could be Democrats, it could be Republicans. Where do things stand now, sir?
Where things stand now is the Trump attorneys have effectively stated this whole thing is unconstitutional. So therefore, they would not want President Trump to be in person, deposing in the trial. So that's number one. Number two, their strategy is very simple: display timeline, images, speeches, etc., to make their case that there is nothing that President Trump, has stated is unconstitutional and is within the rights of the First Amendment, and so therefore this whole thing is a quagmire or a sham that is being created by Democrats. Now the story is whether they will feature four specific videos, which Fox and few other channels have been featuring. For example, Maxine Waters' statement. For example, Chuck Schumer's statement. For example, Nancy Pelosi's statement. For example, Alexandria Cortez' statement on their provocative kind of speeches in front of people captured on public television. Whether those speeches would be used as instances to say where does this sit, or should this also therefore qualify where they're not part of the First Amendment. So whether they would be featured, we don't know, but that could be a pleasant surprise. And it'll be interesting to see how the Democrats defend that particular piece. Effectively, this is a no-show. There's not enough votes, but it's a drama that will happen.
Well, the drama is playing out much to the detriment of President Biden, in my opinion, because there are so many other things that are needing his crying attention. For instance, the belligerence of China, and we will come to that in just a moment. So there has been a very interesting development as far as the Hunter Biden case is concerned. The FBI agent Alvin, who was investigating this, was killed yesterday in Florida when he was executing a warrant, isn't it? Can you share us a little bit of details?
I think that they were the two FBI agents who had gone to serve the subpoenas, were caught and were caught in a melee and in a shootout. Both of them were killed. We don't want to sound conspiracy. We do not want to kind of put any conspiracy theories here. But the fact is that it seems too coincidental that the guys who were serving on what they believed to be, a couple of potential, what shall I say, witnesses, who seem to have been featured in this the videos which they have discovered on this computer on pedophile. So where this goes, we just have to be cautious. Where this goes, we need to be. This whole thing seems to be around not only around corruption, but a whole slew of pedophile type of issues and trafficking and so on. So we need to wait and see as more evidence comes out to be very specific. But it's quite alarming that the FBI agents could be killed in the process of serving a subpoena to witnesses who they were identified as part of the investigation.
And we have predicted this at the beginning of the Biden term that this will hang on his neck like a Damocles sword. The sooner he gets this thing out, the sooner he is going to be able to effectively govern. We will wait and see how this plays out. In the meantime, there is an interesting development that is coming up in the state of California. You all may remember in the 90s, Gray Davis, the California governor, who was a Democrat, was recalled, and that paved way for Arnold Schwarzenegger to become the governor of California. He was the last Republican governor, if I remember correctly. Then there was the era of Jerry Brown, and now Gavin Newsom. The stage is being set now to make a recall of the governor for his handling of the COVID crisis. So these things do have a backlash. I don't know if the state laws of New York allow for the recall of your governor, Sridharji, but certainly in California, we have a very short leash for our governors. You just wait and see how this thing plays out. It is extremely possible that there could be a backlash and that a Republican may come back as a governor of California. So we'll have to wait and see. Now let's take a look at the global events. What do you have for us, sir, on the global stage?
Global stage, I believe that there's lots of things that have happened. Let me start with Biden. Biden made a policy speech around Asia, so which is around inclusive approach, working with allies, and all these grandiose statements that go with any kind of presidential initial speech around the policy framework. He consulted and spoke with a number of leaders that includes, France, UK, Japan, Mexico, then, Korea, and so on. The most conspicuous absence is India. India has been a significant part of the Quad. It has been a significant fulcrum of the Indo-Pacific and the Asia strategy. So I have, blogged on this, which is to say, hey, is it because you have a very strong vested interest group from the Indian neighborhood, or is it because you have pressure from China, or is it because you have the so-called Indian Americans, 20 of them, much touted, plus some of the other South Asian members in the cabinet who have made sure that India is not included. India was not included. At least based on what I have seen in the press reports, that India was not, was not consulted. So I think that that's a telling sign. The second is that he also was apparently very subtle and silent on the Burma and the Myanmar situation. So there has been press reports coming from Asia, which is to say, is this Biden, is this Obama 3, not Biden, is this Obama Biden 3 show? And is he going to commit the same mistakes that he committed in the Obama 1 and 2 administration, which saw spurt in activity in South China Sea? So this is a report coming from Asia based on what they call a very passive response by Mr. Biden with regard to the events unfolding. But on the positive side, on the very positive side, on February 4th, we had, which is yesterday, the U.S. Navy again passed through the Taiwan Strait for the first time under Biden, giving a clear signal that Taiwan is a red flag or a red line, at least this red line being different to the red line that President Obama drew in with regard to Syria during his tenure. Right, so that's a good news in terms of Taiwan being marked and protected. So that's a very positive development on the Biden kind of events on Asia.
Let's take a quick look at the immigration policy that the Biden administration is pursuing now. Can you please share us some numbers on the number of immigrants allowed into the United States? Because there is a news item that 11 Iranians were caught trying to illegally cross into the United States. And this is just a tip of the iceberg. There are many other people trying to illegally come into the United States. You all read about a caravan that has started from Honduras, and this tamasha, this spectacle continues. And what is the update on that? And do you advise students to pursue GRE, GMAT, and other things to come into the United States? Or are there more easier, profitable ways to enter the United States?
Yeah, if I remember correct, the H1 quota, annual quota is about, I think, 84,000 number, of which Indians get a small percentage and gets exhausted very, very fast. So Biden's policy announcement more is dealing with the refugees, not yet on these H1B1 or H1B quotas. They have increased the refugee from October 1st to 125,000 annual. 125,000. This is formal kind of approval number within the policy framework of the Biden administration. Under Trump, this was reduced to about 17,000. The number ranged from 17 to 25,000 during Trump's tenure. Preceding that, during Biden Obama or Obama Biden tenure, it was roughly around 107,000. So there's a big number, okay, that is formally kind of exceeded as a number of refugees that we allowed in, 125. So therefore, you have that number increase. Then there are two important decisions that has happened. One is it is no longer zero tolerance; it is complete tolerance. So therefore, if you are able to sneak in, you have made it. Okay. They're also going to set up a special asylum seeking officer. So this is those who are crossing the border and make it, and they're not going to be prosecuted as illegal. They will be going through a due process and assimilated. That seems to be the trend right now. So what's my message to many of these backpackers and these great American dream aspirants? I'm not kind of advocating it, but there seems to be a much easier path, which is to say, if you can get across to the border, you can make it in, and you can say, look, I'm a master's in so and so, I'm an engineer, and I feel I can contribute to US economy. The normal process doesn't, so I thought I will try this, and I came in. Hey, give me a case. Then maybe they'll say, oh, okay, we may need you, and you can be relevant to this because you have made all the effort to cross. So why to go through all these interviews, this, that, and the examinations and so on. I'm trying to be facetious here, but that's where we seems to be heading in terms of all this immigration, border crossing, border patrol, refugees, etc. And this also goes back to my earlier point that, if you happen to be an illegal alien, we'll also give you health care, and we'll also, if there is an austerity package like the stimulus package, we'll also give you money. Okay? So it's not, everything is like a package that comes under the democratic setup.
Well, we must also mention now that the average time for an immigrant from India to get his green card, his or her green card, is now inching up to 15 years, 1-5. You heard it correctly. And I don't even want to mention the numbers for Philippines. It's upwards of 25. So basically, you come in as a child. By the time you are old, you would become a green card holder as far as Filipinos are concerned. So this is a very uneven situation. And I have heard some numbers of close to 300,000 people who are going through the normal formal legal process to become permanent residents. And I think the Biden administration should also open the gates and bring everybody current, and then formulate a new policy. Anyway, you wouldn't need a new policy if you are going to say that the borders are open, but at least do the right thing, give them also the citizenship, or a green card, and then paves the way for a citizenship. Why not? Because after all, these are the people who come in legally. They pay for the colleges here to study, then they work here, they pay taxes, they abide by the rules and laws of the country, and I think they deserve just as much a break as all the illegals who are crossing into the country. This is just my observation, sir. I don't know what you think, but let us quickly also, please, I'll let you answer to this one and then we'll go to the next item.
Well, I think that to the credit of Biden administration, is one of the first things that they announced, which is to say that they're trying to adopt a two-tier or two-track approach. I think one is 5 years, the other is 8 years, to as a one-off in absorbing these people who are sitting in and standing in this queue. I have not looked at the details, but they clearly kind of address this issue that you are bringing to bear as adjacent to this absorption of this 12 million illegal people who are here. So normalization and acceleration of the conversion of those current H-1B holders or other types of people who are in various stages of the legal process. Also, the family reunion that also is likely to be in favor of absorbing the people. Plus, they're also doing something which is very good, which didn't happen during Trump administration, is the spouses. Many of the spouses of people who are here who who could not work and be gainfully employed, they are trying to see that they can also be given visa status or change in visa status, which allows them to work. So these are all very positive schemes, which is much needed and what is being canvassed very heavily or lobbied very heavily, both with Trump and Biden as pre-election kind of strategy. But it's good to see Biden recognizing it and making it happen.
And in other global news, Taiwan has opened a diplomatic office in Guyana, and this is considered to be a diplomatic win. We will see if more such offices open, and that would certainly mean that Taiwan is beginning to come out of under the shadow of PRC. That is a very significant development. Sridharji, we are running out of time. If you could quickly wrap up global, and then let's move on to COVID, and then a minute there, and then a minute for the market, sir.
So I think that I think we have cut a lot of items on global. So just in the interest of time, there's one specific or one significant development. One is CGTN, which is China Global Television Network, has been banned in UK. I think it's a very bold move. If you recall, we had talked about the UK policy of wherever there are human rights violations, you will not be doing business with them, and those countries will be looked at differently. So they have established that there are human rights violations. CGTN is nothing but curated content directly connected to the Chinese government through the Communist Party. So therefore, CGTN is now banned. On the back of this, BBC has also published reports of rape and torture in the concentration camps or on the camps. I won't use the word concentration, though they use the word concentration in the camps like Uyghur, etc. So when you combine these two, I think UK has made a very positive kind of statement. The last piece on that is Emmanuel Macron has gone public and stated is totally displeased, and this will be a growing trend, totally displeased with these tech platforms suppressing, especially Trump. And he pointed out Trump to be kept still out is a very unhealthy kind of a practice. So he has expressed his displeasure. That's on the global side. On the market shot up yesterday 335 points, reflecting three important principles. One, earnings season is looking good. We already just touched on a couple of them. The second, the stimulus seems to be now done. And the third is, which is even more relevant and important, is the pandemic seems to be getting in control, even in the United States, with the vaccine programs getting rolled out. So finally, the oil prices, as we said, has gone past $56. Okay, now it's $56.45. I haven't checked it this morning, but as of last night, it's $56.45. And 10-year T-bonds is at 1.117. 1.117. 1.139, the T-bonds. 1.117 was yesterday. It's already gone up, 1.139. Both reflecting that the economy is really going to be pushed up with so much of cash floating into the system. $56.46 is not a great news for any of us, who fill the gas tanks every week. But that also shows that the potential gyrations in the Biden's policy in terms of the fracking and cancellation of licenses.
Thank you very much, sir. And viewers, will be back in about 2 hours' time to look at the various stimulus packages that have been rolled out during the Trump administration and now during the Biden administration. Sridharji will take a critical look at the numbers, what the numbers say, which stimulus approach was better, because all we are looking for is how quickly this additional money that is being put into the system is going to be recovered, and what kind of a improvement in lifestyle that it is going to create, where to put the money, where to not put the money. All that stuff will be discussed. It's a very, very interesting talk, and I hope everyone will join us and give us your support. As I said before, we will be back again in 2 hours' time. Now, please subscribe to our channel, and Sridharji, as always, a pleasure to have you on our channel. We'll be back again in 2 hours' time, and then, of course, on Monday. Namaskar.
Namaskar and thank you.